Hey guys. Sorry. Hey guys. I apologize for the last week. I should have done a video last week and I didn't because I had some technical difficulties in terms of my. I did a lot of the weigh-ins and body stuff on my my cell phone because I've got a better camera than the iPad at the moment, and it's clearer because I want things to be a bit clearer, able to see. But I left my data cable at work and so couldn't actually transfer the information, and then realised later in the day after I'd eaten, so it was kind of too late. So I didn't worry about it, and then I had a really amazing experience on the weekend with everybody throwing a party for me, a big congratulatory party for my success and for my gains so far. And I know that I tried to get around as many people as I possibly could that were there on the day to say thank you so much for their kind messages and all their support and all their love. But for those of you who weren't able to make it, or those of you who might not have been able to come or didn't know about it because you were joined the group later on, I want to take this moment to say the biggest and most heartfelt thank you to everybody who's walked the path with me, who's come along for the ride, who's left messages of encouragement, or who's just been there to pick me up when I've sort of fallen over a little bit. And I said this on the day, and I want to reiterate it, that I started this endeavor for a selfish reason. And I'll be honest with everybody, because I've never actually admitted this to anybody publicly. I've a few people know in private. I began this because of a girl. When I say some things are worth more, and when I originally said that I had lost everything, I had lost the love of my life and the girl I was going to marry, and my illness robbed me of a future and the only life that I had ever wanted, and everything that I had actually ever wanted. And literally when that stuff fell apart, I didn't know who I was anymore. I had lost my identity. Not because she had left, but because everything that I knew, everything that I was working towards, everything that I was fighting for, everything that I was looking towards in terms of my future had gone. I literally had lost my path. I stumbled off it and was lost in the forest somewhere, and I couldn't find it anymore. And I was lost for a little while, a good solid month before I started doing this, because it happened the month prior, literally almost exactly a month prior to my first video, was the day that she left, and the day that my life kind of fell apart. I almost didn't finish my degree because of it. I couldn't function. I couldn't breathe half the time. I was having panic attacks and hyperventilating. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Not that I really wanted to, but I couldn't eat. I couldn't keep things down because I always felt like I was going to throw up. I always felt that things are just, I don't know, life was over, so to speak. I know it's kind of cliche to say that, but that's literally how it felt. And I'd never experienced that in my life. It was the first time that my life really had fallen apart. And as much as it hurts every day, and my heart still breaks, and some days are worse than others. I even almost 6 months on, I know that had to happen, and I see that now. That had to happen, and if that hadn't happened, I would have probably ended up in hospital on life support. My body would have shut down because I was really on a very dangerous path, and I hadn't been that bad for a long time. And if she hadn't have gone, if she hadn't have left, I wouldn't have realised finally that this was the price that my illness was going to cost me for the rest of my life. And then if I didn't change, I wouldn't have a life to live. I literally wouldn't have a life. I'd be dead soon. And that the cost of my illness was more than it was worth. And so I started to find out that, you know what, the only way I can get her back was to get better. And that was my main drive, and that was my drive for a long time. And I was very passionate about it, and it drove me with such anxiety because I was panicking that the longer it took, the harder it would be. And so I was literally throwing everything at myself that I possibly could. But then I realised somewhere down the track that, and I'm pretty sure someone made it pretty obvious to me, that I was doing it for the wrong reasons, that they were superficial reasons. As much as I loved her and was in love with her, that if I did it for anyone else other than me, that it wouldn't be enough, and that I would fall short, and it would be too easy to become undone. And I realised that my main motivation had to be me. It had to be the life that I wanted. It had to be a future that I was willing to carve out for myself with blood, sweat and tears and all the pain that was going to come with it. I really had to forge ahead myself, for myself, not for anyone else. And that brings us to now. That brings us to here. And 6 months down the track, the reason I started all this didn't come to pass. But 6 months down the track, some things were just worth more. My life was worth more. My friends were worth more. My family were worth more. The relationships I'm able to have now with people that I love and care about, and I'm able to rekindle and reconnect with, were worth more. Drinking again, eating fast food again, all these things that I had been petrified to do, worth more, not because of their effects or because of whatever, other than it's a life of freedom, it's a life of free choice, it's not a life lived in anxiety. And I'll stop rambling now because I wanted this to be kind of more the intro. I wanted to say to everybody that the original motivation, whilst I couldn't sustain that and it wasn't healthy to do so, there was a time when I stopped doing that I didn't realise, that I didn't think I could do it anymore. I didn't think I had the drive because she was my main drive. But that's where you guys all come in, and that's why I want to thank you, and I want to tell you how much I love you and how much you have been a part of this and a part of this success. And this isn't a solo effort. This, as much as it is me not doing all the work, but as much as it is me putting the food in my mouth and trying to stay on the straight and narrow, you all nurtured me there. You all carried me when I'd fallen down. You all picked me up when I fell over. And you kept me going in a time when I lost my motivation, when I lost my reason. You guys did that. You helped me more than you guys have any idea. That if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here, standing here. I wouldn't be living this life that I am now. So I thank you. I thank you so much. Now that we got all the mushy crap out of the way, I'm going to do my twirl. I'm naked, because I know you guys like that. And then I'm going to get on the scales, still naked, because I know you guys like that too, for all of those feet fetish people out there. Do the weigh, check it out, and then we'll come back. I'll chat maybe a little bit, because I've taken up a lot of your time now. And then I'll say there's the weigh. You might notice a little bit of a drop in the weight, and that's not unexpected. I have started to do a bit of exercise, and that's probably the thing I want to be really honest about. Because I didn't do one last week, I didn't get to mention it. So about 2 weeks ago now, yeah, about 2 weeks ago since I made the last video. So about 2 weeks ago, I began doing a little bit of exercise, and that really was sort of like a 10-minute set of push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. Just to kind of work some areas, just to kind of put on a bit of muscle and to tone up a little bit, so I could feel a little bit more, and I guess confident, a little bit more comfortable in myself. And there is definitely the drive to fix stuff. There is definitely the drive to get rid of jiggliness and be less dissatisfied with my body. And you know what? With as much soul with as much soul searching as I possibly could muster at the time, because it was late one night and I was tired. So call it soul searching, call it somewhat sleep drunk. I don't know. I was in a different headspace. So I was sitting there thinking to myself that, why do we do exercise? Why? What's the point of it? And in modern day society, it's arguable that it is because of our physique, it is because of our body, because we want to be a little bit more in shape, or a little bit more a body image that we feel comfortable, we feel okay with. And for the normal person, that's okay, because they're not compulsive, not obsessive, and they're not completely consumed by it. I am, and that's the juggling act for me. And I came to the realization that's probably always going to be the juggling act for me, at least for a little while, where any kind of exercise is going to be like taking a drink for an alcoholic. It's going to be like, taking a shot for a heroin addict. Like it really is. It's that thing that immerses you back into the obsession and back into the addiction. And I noticed how quickly my head became compulsive and obsessive. Minutes of exercise, where I felt restless before I didn't do it, and there was always that looming idea of I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it. I remember one morning waking up and that being the first thought in my head, and that scared the shit out of me, because they're old thoughts. That's old stuff that would plague me a lot. And it got to the point where now it's not as obtrusive as it used to be, but it's definitely, that compulsion is definitely there, and I'm trying to really juggle that at the moment, in terms of wanting to do some exercise because it's healthy for my body, and also because I want to feel more confident in my body. I want to feel a little bit more okay with myself, more comfortable, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's something wrong with that when that becomes my main focus, or when I'm obsessed by it, when I'm completely consumed by it all. That's when things get fucked up. Like and I always say this to my clients, is that things aren't really a problem until they start to impact or impinge upon the quality of life that you have. When things start to get in the way of you doing things, that's when you need to look at them. And if this isn't getting in the way of doing stuff, if I can manage this, it's like 10 minutes, if I can manage this, then I guess that's okay. And those thoughts are always going to be there, and those compulsions are probably always going to be there for a while. And so, always for a while, in Guantan. They'll be there for a while, and maybe it's just juggling that, like with the food, like with the ideas of food and that kind of thing. Maybe it is just juggling that stuff until it becomes okay, and normally you don't really think about it anymore. I don't know. I am testing the waters with this. I am trying to see how it goes, because I wanted to get back into exercise. I wanted to get back into some physical activity because I was really sluggish. And yes, there's a vanity thing involved there. Surprise, surprise. I'm a little bit concerned with my body image. Who would have thought it? But it's something that I'm very concerned with. But I have noticed feeling more confident in my body, feeling a little bit better in myself, not feeling as self-conscious and not feeling as jiggly, which means that there's a bit of muscle put on, which is kind of cool. And you might have noticed in the video that you can sort of see a little bit of muscle tone, which is kind of cool. But that being said, if the weight starts to drop, then I don't want to be skinny. Like, I really don't. I look at myself when I'm skinny, I'm just like, ugh. And I can see a little bit of weight dropping here and there, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it, and if it starts to, if it does drop any more, then I'll throw in the protein shakes again to, not necessarily build up, but just sort of compensate for the exercise that I am doing. Another thing is also that I do take my dog for a walk, and I've noticed that that's become faster and faster, whereas it used to be quite really casual. So that I'm going to knock on the head, because I'm not having that. I'm just not having that. I'm not dragging my dog around the fucking street so I can get exercise. That's ridiculous and insane, and I would prefer to enjoy my time with my dog than, you know, use her as a reason to exercise. It's nuts. And it's not going to become feasible anyway, because I'll be at work and I'll only be able to do anything at night, so, you know, I'll have to come down off that very, very quickly, and the quicker I put a stop to that, the better. Yeah, so that's me being really honest, it's me being really transparent as much as I possibly can in terms of what's going on in my head and the compulsions and how quickly they are sort of latching on, and then it's the monkey on my back, you know, the seductive whispers in my ears that really do motivate my actions, motivate my motivation, motivate my actions. So, you know, this is what the whole video was for, is to be completely honest and be completely accountable, and that's what I'm doing. You guys will be able to see if there's any more weight loss on the scales and in the body. And yeah, you know, after Sunday, after seeing everyone really bear all, or as much as they're all comfortable with, really hit home for me that it really put that pressure on me again, which is what the video was also meant to do, was to put on the pressure to make myself accountable. And with everyone doing that, it's given me a sense of pressure to not let you guys down, and not to let myself down, because it's easy to forget where my head wants to be, because that's other stuff is really seductive. But to see you guys do that, and to really shed some barriers, and to let your guards down and really be open and honest, for me is really humbling. And I don't want to I don't want to, I can't even think of the word. I don't want to sully what you've done. I don't want to. I know the word, but I can't think what it is. Please, someone in comments put the word down so that everyone knows what I'm trying to say. Thank you. I don't want to fuck that up. I don't want to let you guys down. I don't want to. You know what I'm trying to say. It really woke me up again to how important it is, and the accountability. So that's another little thing that you guys do for me, and you guys keep giving, and me staying true and me staying on the straight and narrow is me trying to give back and show you guys how much I love you, and how much you mean to me, and how much that this means to me, and how much my success so far, and how it's inspired others to do things for themselves, to make changes in their lives that they've wanted to make for a while. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be the one that fails, and you know, at the same time I don't expect to be like a leader of some movement, but because I have inspired others, I feel that pressure to continue on, and I welcome it. It's not a pressure that I don't want, it's a pressure that I was actually after, and that's a pressure that I knew that would come, and it's a pressure that I was hoping for, because it drives me. It's something that reminds me of values, it reminds me of things that are worthwhile, it reminds me of the reasons that I do this for myself, as selfish as my intentions were. Now that they've become a bigger thing than me, it's become something that inspires others and motivates others, and I want to continue to do that, because that's the kind of person I want to be. I want to be someone that does inspire people, that does motivate them. It's, you know, it's my job, and I can't be a good counselor, I can't be a good therapist sitting there and telling someone, or sitting there and helping someone with their own issues, if I'm fucking around with mine. Yeah. But hey, that's me, that's my stuff. This is a pretty long video, I apologise for that, but I did have a lot I wanted to say. I guess I didn't realise how long I'd ramble on for, because I didn't really take notes again. But that's me, you know what I'm like. So please feel free to fast forward through the shit if you're just interested in seeing some soft porn. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. This weekend I'm on tour, so I'm going to try and get this. That's why this video is early. It's on a Wednesday, not a Thursday. So I'm trying to get this one in early so that I don't miss out again. But wish me luck for the tour, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a great weekend. I love you. Bye-bye.